Hey guys, we're going to start talking nutrition with the 98 online nutrition system. So we have split this system up into 3 sections, and today we're discussing the foundation nutrition. Now everybody wants to know what the secret trick is to good nutrition. I get asked this every day, but I have boiled some very key points for you to follow as we go along. So with the foundation nutrition, what we're looking at is some success standards, some knowledge requirements, as well as what you can expect as a result of doing these changes. Because we need to remember that nutrition and health is a skill, and unless we can master these little steps along the way, we're not going to have much of a chance of establishing long-term sustainable health changes. We've all done 8-week challenges that have gotten us to a certain point. However, what happens when we finish these challenges is the adherence falls down and we're not as motivated. If we can build these healthy habits that are in the foundation nutrition for 98 Online, we are well on the way to forming long-term changes, which is everything that 98 Online is about. So when we look at the success standards for the foundation nutrition, what we're looking at is, and these are pretty simple, but roll with me on this one, we want to hit at least 5 serves of vegetables every day. That's 75 grams. Now, 90% of Australians cannot achieve this, so don't let it fool you thinking that this is going to be an easy task. That's going to be around 2 serves of vegetables at dinner, 2 serves at lunch, and maybe some snacks along the way. The next one is including a quality source of protein at every meal. So protein pulsing across the day means that we have even distributions of protein throughout the day, not back-ending our protein, which is a downfall of many people. They'll start the day with nothing and they'll end up with a big fat steak at the end of the day. What we want to achieve is pulses throughout the day so that we have even distribution for our protein serves. Helps us keep full and also will assist with the recovery process when it comes to training in the gym as well. So we're maximising our results by spreading that protein out across the day. The next one is, now don't hate me, but we're going to be looking at reduction of alcohol. This is one, I'm not a teetotaler, I'm not going to be asking you to completely cut out alcohol, but for many people this is the downfall that is really holding them back. Not only for the excess calories that are consumed whilst drinking, but also the aftermath, the foods that we eat when we're not feeling so good, the foods that we eat whilst we're drinking. We're going to be asking, as a part of the foundation nutrition, that we reduce alcohol occasions to 2 occasions per week, with no more than 3 alcoholic drinks per occasion. Of course, we're going to have special occasions where this is going to go out the window, and that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about habitual drinking habits, looking at a reduction in alcohol intake on the whole. So that's reducing it to 2 days a week, 3 drinks per sitting. If we can do this, I guarantee you'll be feeling $100 in no time. The next one is replacing absent-minded snacking with well-thought-out snacks. Snacks are something that happen by accident in most cases. By planning ahead and choosing some protein-rich snacks or some fruit, nuts, boiled eggs, yogurt, those are the sorts of things that we can have on hand so that when it comes to that 3 p.m. craving, the first thing isn't the banana bread or the Freddo Frog, it's actually a nutritious snack. So we're not letting snacks happen by accident. And this is a skill that, again, most people aren't nailing, but it would go a long way to reducing those less optimal food choices. I'm looking at you, chai latte, for better choices, and also improving the nutrient density of our diet. The next one is looking at changing the ratios. A lot of people are consuming way too much of these sometimes foods, the junk foods, the takeaway, Uber Eats. We want to try and flip those proportions to eating for health and performance 70% of the time. And then in the foundation section, we're looking at just a reduction to 30% of the time having some of those sometimes foods. So we're not going from all to nothing. We're going from sort of 90% not so good to 30% not so good choices. So we want to make sure that for the whole 70%, we are consuming the high quality foods that we all know we should be having: lean meats, vegetables, whole foods, unrefined grains, dairy, but we are leaving a little bit of leeway. So it might be 3 meals a week that are takeaway or that are down the pub with your mates. That's fine. And maybe a few snacks, but by really focusing on those proportions in the foundation stage, it's setting yourself up for better results long term. The next one is adding in some extra sleep. Now, it's not always linked, the link between sleep and diet, but there's actually a really big impact that sleep plays on our food choices. Not only do we see an increase in the hunger hormone ghrelin with reduced sleep, which is driving us to eat more food, we're also seeing in some cases where sleep reduction is chronic, we're actually seeing the progression into insulin resistance as a result of reduced sleep. Plus, when we're sleepy, we tend to have less motivation and we have less resolve, so we're going for those sugary treats to get that energy a little bit sooner than we should be. So aiming for an extra half an hour, that's all you need to do for the first 4 weeks in the foundation section, is going to make you feel a whole lot better and likely to lead to better choices. And then finally, we're looking at water intake. So again, it's very easy to forget that water needs to happen. It's okay in the warmer months, we tend to have that feedback, but when you're in the gym doing a hard session and we've sweated out a whole lot, we need to be making sure that we're replenishing it. Not only because our body is predominantly water, but also because it affects cognitive function as well. So when we're dehydrated, again, we're going to be impacting our concentration levels and our performance at work and in the gym. So what we need to figure out next is they're the standards for the first 4 weeks in the foundation nutrition. However, we need to look at, okay, what knowledge do we need to have in order to achieve these goals? Because knowledge is key. We want to make sure that we know what are quality protein sources, and we will have resources to assist with this. We want to know what a good quality carbohydrate serves, and how do I figure out what's good versus a more refined version? How do I actually figure that out? We want to know what healthy fat sources are. So when we're building our meals, we're looking at what's my fat source, what's a carbohydrate source, what's a protein source. And long term, this knowledge is what's going to lead to those changes in food choices. Finally, we're going to look at how to construct a healthy plate. So getting those 5 serves of vegetables, getting that lean protein pulse throughout the day, putting that on the plate first, and then building it up with the good quality carbohydrates and the healthy fat sources. So building a healthy plate is a skill, which means that you don't need a meal plan. You can just look down at your plate and see that, yes, my proportions are about right for how active I am. We want to be able to estimate serve sizes with our hands by the end of the 4 weeks. So we want to be able to eyeball and go, okay, that's about 150 grams of steak. That's about half a cup of rice. That's about 75 grams of vegetables. And these are skills that'll help you actually reduce your portion sizes, because when you're out, you can actually do some estimations and actually have an educated guess on what you're consuming. And then finally, we want you to be able to identify or have a few key snack options that you'll always turn to, making those snack choices better in the long run. So experimenting a little bit in the kitchen, making sure that you know where your refrigerator is at work, or getting rid of the chocolate bars in the top drawer. These are all the steps that we need to take. And then we need to look at finally is, what can you expect at the end of 4 weeks if you were to do all of these steps in the foundation nutrition? What's the outcome? What am I going to feel? And what we can expect you to feel is a better clarity, more hydration, better food in your body, brain's going to be functioning better, especially with that extra sleep. We can expect improved recovery from training. Soreness is always going to happen, but we can feel like we are going to bounce back faster. We're ready for the next session the next day. Improved digestion. When we're reducing those processed foods and we're increasing the quality of our diet, a lot of people who might be looking at sort of intolerances or whatnot actually find that when they improve the overall quality of the diet, they're less likely to be looking elsewhere for what's going wrong, and can actually appreciate the fact that whole foods is going to make your gut feel like it's functioning better. We can also guarantee that you'll be a little bit more confident in planning your own meals. So by learning that basic plate model, learning how to estimate serve sizes just by using hands and to put together a plate, we're going to feel more confident that we know how to feed ourselves, and that's key because there's so many different ways to do nutrition, but the idea is through the Nutrition with 98 online is that you can find your own methodology that works for you, and that's going to be working for your own training protocol as well. We might see a reduction in some fat mass in that 4 weeks. Again, these aren't big changes, but they're quite impactful. So I would expect if somebody is able to meet all these requirements that they will be experiencing some weight loss, and in hand with that, an increase in muscle mass as well. Because we're increasing that protein intake, we're becoming more aware of fueling our body for our training. That is always going to lead to an improved body composition. And on the whole, we're going to be more confident and feeling ready for the next steps. So the foundation nutrition for 98 is a 4-week buy-in. If we can't be hitting these standards, then we're not going to be able to go on to step 2, which is slightly more rigorous in the nutrition system. However, we'll go through those details as we go along.